Alright, let's fucking get it. Alright, so pretty much what I'll do is I'll give the introduction, let you introduce yourself, kind of go over what we're going to be talking about. I figured this would probably be best just for like kind of like a free-flowing conversation.
Yeah.
Instead of just like a set topic.
Yeah, just follow your lead.
Yep, pretty much. But alright guys, welcome to the Uncrowned podcast. I'm your host, JB Motivation, or Joe Batista, if y'all fuckers would like to know my legal name. You can find this podcast at Spotify, Apple Play, and anywhere else you fuckers like to listen to this shit. If you want to support the podcast, you can go to jbmotivation.com and get our sick merch, or if you'd like me to help you personally with your issues, meaning adapt and overcome everything that you want to in life, you can find me at standwith.me/jbmotivation. All of this is in the link in all my social media bios. Everything is jbmotivation777. Today is just going to be a free-flowing topic. I have someone probably not usual of what you guys were expecting, but this is my barber. This is the man that is pretty much the reason why I get laid as often as I do. So, no, I'm going to let him introduce himself. And this is just, like I said, going to be a free-flowing conversation. We were recording in the Iron House, my home, my second home, the gym, the basement gym in St. Charles, if you fuckers want to stalk me at all. So, brother, I'd like you to introduce yourself, tell people what you do, who you are, where they can find you, and all that shit.
Yeah, man. My name's Dave Marvel. Find me on Instagram, the Dave Marvel, if you want to follow my personal page, or my barbershop if you're local to St. Charles. My barbershop is actually right inside the gym here. It's called New Asgard Barber, so you can just go on Instagram, New Asgard Barber, make your appointments there. For police, fire, military, you get discounts all the time, 365. Want to support our heroes, people that sacrifice their daily lives for us. So that's just my little way of giving back. But other than that, I've been working out at this gym for about 3 years now, and I wanted to join Joe here because I just like what you're doing. It's positive, it's empowering. I think in this world, guys need a lot of help in their lives. They don't get it from wherever else. And we talked about that. We get to talking in the barbershop, because when you're a barber, you're kind of like a unofficial therapist. So that's where we got to talking, and I really liked everything that you talk to people about and you stand for. So I figured, I'd like to help you out and enjoy it, just be fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say this too, guys. If you do hear background noise, any background talking, or the beautiful sound of iron weights hitting the floor, that is because we are, yes, in a gym. I'll do my best to edit whatever out that I can, but the sweet symphony of iron on iron can't be hushed. So why don't you give us a little talk about what we've been kind of going over when I'm getting all fucking silky smooth.
Yeah.
Kind of like that book that you were telling me about, and kind of like what's that's going on, how that is really important for a lot of the guys to kind of figure into.
Yeah, so the book that Joe's referencing is the book that I lent him to read. It's called Unplugged Alpha, written by Richard Cooper. And it came out at a great time. It came out last year in 2020. And basically the gist of it is empowering men to be the leaders that we lack in this world today. And it's everything that you talk about with Uncrowned Kings. So, just being a strong, positive leader in your community, in your family, circle of friends, whatever. I think there's a lot of weakness in the world, a lot of weakness in our country. And it's because men aren't supported. Guys like us are looked at as either evil or negative in some light, when in reality that couldn't be further from the truth. Guys like you and I would do nothing but seek to help others. It's a mantra that I have, or just like a kind of code that I live by in my barbershop, and it's like anybody's welcome as long as you're a decent human being. I don't care what your background is, where you come from, just be a decent human being.
Right.
Meaning look out for other people, support others in positive achievements and stuff like that. And I think that book really gives a nice guideline. And the reason I gave it to you is because it's such a quick read. I'm not much of a reader myself. I know you're much more of a reader than I am, but it's just a quick read, and it's very to the point. It gives you a lot of empowering things to live by. And it just makes you more confident in your daily life. And that's a thing that a lot of guys lack, is confidence, but also confidence in the right areas, you know?
Right.
Guys can be confident about this, that, the other thing, but what's confident is being confident in oneself and one's character, and it gives you a really good way of doing that, like in a positive way.
Right. I mean, I think, what was it, episode like 5 and 6 or whatever, was literally all about confidence. The other one, the first one I did with my partner Chaz, we did about self-confidence, and the other one was basically where and what areas that guys lack confidence, and how to really even use confidence.
Right.
So one is like almost identifying the problem, and then the other one is, okay, now here's what you do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. A lot of these guys, a lot of it is social confidence too.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, you know, guys walk around hunched shoulders, you know, head looking down, posing through life. What image does that portray?
Exactly.
Like, you have no idea who the fuck you're gonna be in life. You know, it takes absolutely nothing. Chest high, chin up high, chest back, and just project your voice.
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest things I learned in the military was, you know, establishing dominance when you walk into a room.
Yeah.
Right. And you do that in 2 ways. You do that with the way you look, and you do that with the way you carry yourself.
Yeah. Which go hand in hand.
Exactly. Because obviously you make people look fresh, you make them feel good. A haircut's the fastest thing to do to build your confidence.
Absolutely.
But it's like, I mean, we see it walking around outside of the gym. Was like, these guys don't know how to fucking dress. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They're over here dressing the same way they walk in here, fucking hoodie, sweats, whatever, hood up, earphones in, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're literally limiting your life so much just in the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
So just a little simple psychology thing is like, there's even a psychology in the way you work your hands that people don't even realize.
Absolutely.
So it's like when you have your arms crossed, you're immediately subconsciously telling other people you're closed off.
100%.
You don't want anything to do with them.
I don't remember where I first heard that, but that's something I've always thought about is body language, you know, and when you do this, there are times where I'm doing it just because it's comfortable, and I try to, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
So.
get yourself centered.
Yeah.
Another one is hands in the pockets. You do never, ever want to put your hands in your pockets. Obviously, if it's cold, whatever, that might be appropriate, but always leave those thumbs out.
Yeah.
What that does is it basically tells the other person, hey, I'm vulnerable for attack. You put your hands in your pockets, it's the I don't care look, whatever, but I can walk up to you, slap you across the face fast, and then you can react.
Yeah.
Because your hands are tucked away.
The other thing that hands in the pockets is always going to do is, you know, a guy like you, when you have any kind of tactical training, what are you always looking at? You're always looking at the hands. You always look at what somebody's doing with their hands, especially if you're in law enforcement. I know they're always looking at what the hands are doing too. And for guys like, you know, you and I, if your hands are in your pockets, I'm not going to trust you because I'm like, what is this guy going to do? Is he a threat? You know, he might be vulnerable, but he also might be a threat, you know.
Correct.
Because you don't know what those hands are going to do. So if
Correct.
your hands are out, it's twofold because it not only shows confidence and ready preparedness,
Right.
but it also shows, you know, I'm not a threat to you.
Right, and I mean, hands at the side, like almost at attention, that's just socially awkward. If you stand like that in public, you might get a few weird looks.
Yeah.
Hands behind your back, however, especially if you're talking to like your boss or some sort of authoritative figure, basically shows almost like a sign of submission. It's like, hey, I'm trusting your leadership, I'm trusting your authoritative figure. As a sign of respect, I'm going to show you that I'm not a threat to you. I have absolutely no means to show dominance over you. And it's almost like a form of submission. And I know guys hate that word submitting.
Right.
They absolutely hate it. I had one video that did go viral. It was lessons every dad should teach their kids, or teach their sons, sorry. And basically I talked about how you greet a girl if she's still living with her parents and you're picking her up from, you know, her parents' house. Obviously you want to shake the hands of the dad, and I talked about the angles of the hand.
Yeah.
How when you go to shake his hand, your hand should be slightly angled downward.
Yeah.
And the reason is you're showing him a sign of respect. You're not trying to dominate over him.
Right.
You're letting him know that he has a sense of authority. It's a sign of respect.
Absolutely.
And guys hate that. They hate being like, I'm not submitting to no one's dad. I'm gonna make her dad my bitch. I'm like, that mentality is gonna get you nowhere in life.
Right. Because we're evolved beings. There's a few things that I want to add to because I thought of, but we're evolved beings. There's not just this like I am always going to be the alpha. You know, in the military, there's a hierarchy. There's an order, and showing respect and reverence to somebody who's above you in rank doesn't mean that you couldn't kill them physically. I mean, but it shows. One thing that I also always live by is women want a man who is savage but is civilized.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Well, no, it's the whole idea of being meek.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to be somebody who is a monster, but you're civilized. So there's a difference between just being a fucking brute and being civilized. The other thing is, we were talking about when if your hands are back, sign of submission, but still, where the shoulders are, if your shoulders are down, then it really shows weakness.
Yes.
But you can show submission with that chest up high. It shows attention and reverence, and it shows respect, which is a big thing too.
Yes. Exactly.
And I think there was something else, but I'm sure I'll think about it again. But all really good points. Definitely things I agree with.
Yeah, so I mean, even going back to the handshake things, I knew a lot of people were even curious about it. So obviously, if you go to shake underneath, and I'm talking about hold your hand directly horizontal,
right?
Awkward.
Just slightly,
Just slightly.
Yeah.
So, right now we're even.
Right.
So if you kind of go like this, if you've ever done that, that basically means you're showing your authority over me.
Yeah.
I'm giving you that authority just in a handshake.
Yeah.
Or we're mutual. This means, hey, I'm showing you dominance. You're giving me respect.
Right, exactly.
Now, if you ever want to eliminate this...
Also, no, the longest I've ever held a man's hand.
Fair. If you ever want to show basically equality with someone, so say you know they're not your boss, you know they're not, some sort of authoritative figure over you, yet they're trying to establish that dominance.
Yeah.
Go two hands, right? Watch this. So say, go in as if you're trying to go over me, this, and you bring it back.
Right. That's something I've always done too, but you can show a lot of respect for somebody that way too. Exactly what you're saying.
Right.
A lot of respect, but also power and strength.
Right. You'll see that as in a lot of business meetings, they go in for that double handshake.
Yeah.
And they basically bring each other to equal. Basically saying, hey, I'm not gonna be your bitch. We can actually work together on something.
Right.
And that's very respectful. It's all right, I know you're not a fucking pushover.
Yeah. Generally, I use the double handshake for either an elder or if I'm meeting a girl's brother or something like that, somebody who maybe is not older than me, but I also want to show that extra bit of respect.
Correct.
The two hand is always more respect for me, but again, strength and confidence.
Right, exactly. But these aren't things that are taught you.
Exactly.
Right, which is a shame because little minute things like that can really help a guy escalate his game from just average level male to really start tackling being that high value man.
Right.
And I always laugh because I feel like the definition of a high value man between a man and a woman completely different. The way a man identifies a high value man versus the way a woman identifies as a high value man are completely different.
Right.
So what would you call a high value man?
High value man is somebody who has strict morals that they abide by, is no nonsense, doesn't let other people push them around, within reason. I mean, if you got a boss and you gotta put your food on your table and stuff like that, sometimes you gotta take this or that. But ultimately, you let people know that you are this person who's not going to be pushed around, who's got strength and confidence in themselves, and also along with that, like I said before, coming back to be a monster. People need to know that you're no nonsense, but you also have understanding and compassion for others.
Right.
Within reason. You don't want to ever let anybody take advantage of you.
No.
But high value men are very well rounded. You're strong, confident, somebody to not be trifled with, and you also have compassion and understanding for others.
Yep.
Our brothers and sisters in arms and stuff like that, hell, we fall down, we get beat the shit out of, but you need support, you need compassion, stuff like that, and all those kinds of things come into if you're a high value man.
Right. I think where a lot of misconception comes into play is women think a high value man, at least this is what I've gotten. Obviously I'm not a woman, so I can't give that.
You don't know for sure, but
Right. It doesn't mean I still can't see the other side.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I've kind of gotten from the social universe of what women think a high value man is 6 foot 6 inches, 6 figures.
Yeah.
Right? That is the takeaway, what they deem as a high value man.
Right.
But what they don't understand is what it really takes to get a high value man and what a high value man really is.
True.
Because it's not just the money, it's not just the looks, and it sure as hell ain't the fucking dick. Because you can get a dweeb with a 10-inch schlong and don't mean shit.
Sure.
So where I think the misconception is, they will try to almost match that energy,
Yeah.
thinking that it'll get them a high value man, when really, in my opinion, a high value man is someone not gonna take no shit.
Right.
Like, he's not gonna put up with the attitude. He's not gonna put up with the entitlement. You are either with him on this and respect his authority, and he will show you that back, or he will drop you in a fucking heartbeat.
Right. And on the other side of that, a high value man doesn't feel, at least in my opinion, doesn't feel entitled himself.
No.
We work for everything that we achieve.
Exactly.
You know, if a bonus is thrown to you, hell, you know, that's an extra bonus. But
Right.
for the most part, I'm working for everything that I achieve, and everything that I earn, you know.
Yeah,
It's
it
cut and
blows
dry.
my mind because I watch a lot of Kevin Samuels, and I don't really like everything he says because I feel like a lot of stuff he does come off as a pretentious asshole.
Okay. I'm not familiar with him, but
I want to say he's a doctor. Don't quote me on it, but he does all these interviews on basically men dating scene, whatever, and he does a lot of the interviews with these women that have that sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
And this woman would be like, "Oh, I'm 30 years old, 2 baby daddies. I dropped out of college. Where's my good man at?" And he goes, "Why?"
right.
He's like, "What good man on his purpose, on his drive, single, making all that money, whatever, want to bring something that is going to hinder his growth?" And her response is, "Well, because I can cook, I can clean, I can love, I can do." He's like, "No, they could all buy that if they really wanted to."
Yeah.
Like there's a psychology thing that I feel like a lot of women don't seem to understand, is that we don't care about your degree. We don't care how much money you make. We don't care about your look. I mean, obviously we care a little bit about your looks, but that's not the main ticket. At least that gets us it gets us into bed with you, but ain't gonna keep you around. And let's be fucking real here.
Yeah.
What a lot of them seem to fucking miss that ball is this attitude that has gotten onto these women. And I would be labeled as a fucking misogynist or, damn near chastised over the internet for even saying some of this shit. But that sense of entitlement or, "Oh, I'm a bad bitch," I fucking hate that term. Hate it beyond belief. Because what that basically means, when it's coming from a lot of those women that want to, preach, "Oh, I'm a bad bitch," it's like me saying, "Oh, I'm an alpha male." Calling myself an alpha male. Kind of, almost is like an oxymoron.
It is and it isn't. So it's perfect that you brought that up, because sometimes there's no real decent way of expressing yourself in words, because actions are always worth more than words.
Correct, yes.
But sometimes we don't have the luxury of showing all those actions. So I can, as somebody who you would be, if you would classify yourself as an alpha male, there's a difference between being alpha and being cocky.
Yes.
Versus being confident, and what that difference is being a leader.
Right.
So we've all had, you played sports, right?
No, actually I did.
Actually, no, okay. But
So
still,
I
military.
played a couple of years of volleyball in high
Sure.
school. I wouldn't even fucking count.
Military, same thing with sports and military. You're gonna have people who are above you.
Yep.
You're a leader.
Yep.
Okay. I played hockey my whole life, and I've had captains and coaches who were more like tyrants, and they're more like bosses. Nobody wants a boss, everybody wants a leader. So that's the way you have to be if you are an alpha male.
Right.
You have to be a leader, not a boss.
Yep.
No partner is gonna want to be with somebody who is just constantly like over them. They want them to lead. So you should always be, anything that I hold anybody else to, friends, family, relationships,
Right.
I hold myself to those same convictions too.
Exactly.
So I would not tell my mother, father, sister, girlfriend, "Hey, I want you to, get in the gym, eat right, do all these things," if I'm not doing those same things myself.
Right.
Because I'm a high quality man and I'm a leader. I'm not just that guy who sits there playing video games and like, "Hey babe, you need to look good for me while I can sit here on my fat ass and just be a loser."
Fuck that.
Like,
No. Yeah.
I'm gonna lead by example, and then you're gonna follow my You're gonna follow my lead.
I feel like that's where a lot of these relationships are really going wrong, because these guys are taking the backseat in the relationship.
Right.
The women are taking the forefront.
Right.
And I see it every day. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how much you see, because I experience hundreds of more people on a day-to-day basis than you do just in my main job.
Sure. Yeah.
These fucking dads come in, they're overweight. You know, the moms come in, they're running the show. The kids obviously have no discipline whatsoever.
Right.
And you can just tell the kids don't respect either of them. The mothers or the wife, whatever, is probably hating the marriage. You might be happy on the surface, but you know it could be leaps and bounds better.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it all comes down to like those men basically not even succumbing to their masculine energy. It's almost like feminine energy.
It really
like
is.
They just want to like relax and you know, just chill. Yeah, I go to work and like leave me alone. I just want to relax. I've had a long day. Like, what?
No one cares. Work harder. Is basically what I say to that. You know.
Well, right, and it's like you need to be a leader of the household. Women want you to be a leader of the household. These guys wondering why the relationships are failing, why this is failing. I get it. There are some really shitty women out there, just like there's some really shitty men out there.
Guys. There's shitty humans. I mean,
bingo.
Yeah.
We're not going to put labels on anything because there's a lot of shitty people in all areas. However, when it just comes down to men and women, men need to start being the fucking leaders.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
If I, when I get my family, whatever, I'm going to be a leader of that household. If I'm going to work out, I expect my wife to take care of herself.
Yeah.
Not simply just, I don't expect her to be a competitive athlete like me, right? But take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of yourself in your body, and then that in turn takes care of your mind and your emotions, everything. When you focus on the body, it's a domino effect. Mind, body, and soul, emotions, you know?
Right. Because I don't think guys realize that, the feminine energy is pretty much just all about submission and rest. If a guy exhibits more masculine energy, that's when he's going to finally be able to get a woman to respect him and submit to him.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad because obviously I still get comments about, guys being shitty from these women, but it's like you're being a wife to a guy that didn't earn his place as a husband.
Yeah.
You can't just submit to Timmy you met off fucking Tinder.
Yeah.
Nor can you try to lead a woman that doesn't want to be led.
Yeah.
You really need that dynamic and need that place. And for gentlemen, if you meet a woman that doesn't respect you and i.e. just doesn't want to be led in the household, you have no obligation to stay with her. You can bring her water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah, that's when we're getting to the term of giving them a soft next. If you're not going to accept what I have to offer, there's a million other people that will. So
right.
You just move on. Like, you don't need to sit there and continue to try to save somebody who doesn't want to be pulled out of the water.
Exactly.
And before we change topics, again, like, if you are a leader and all these things that we talk about, being the leader in the relationship, being the provider, the head of the household, all those things. Again, you never want to be a tyrant. You want to value the person that you're with and your partner, but you may be leading them, but at the same time, they still have a lot of value. So I think that's where things get misconstrued or misunderstood, is that when we talk about male empowerment and trying to motivate men, it comes off as almost like women are devalued or lesser, and that's not the case, because everybody has their role, and it's all of value. If we didn't need women, we wouldn't have them. If we didn't need men, we wouldn't have them. That's why there is a difference.
Right, and that's what's really irritating, trying to bring up this, the Uncrowned Kings movement, because people see, pro men, mental health, just pro men, whatever.
Right.
And people are like, so why do you hate women? It's like,
absolutely not.
And when the fuck did I say that?
Right, and I gave you that book, and there's a term in there that is, it goes by the term MGTOW, and it stands for Men Go Their Own Way. And you never want to be one of those guys, because we need women. We want women, because you need contrast in life. You need difference. Otherwise, you're never going to grow. You're never going to continue to be better.
Right. So it's like I even speak a lot against almost like the idea of modern marriage now. So people think I'm against marriage. Like, no, I'm pro traditional marriage. Like what marriage was originally.
More the nuclear family.
Exactly, what marriage was originally meant to be for. Now it's literally just, hey, we're going to be dating with a legal contract that says if you leave me, I get all your shit. No, fuck that.
It's really with the way that society and especially the government has gone. Government makes a lot of money off of men in divorce, so they want that. You know?
Oh yeah, and they make being a single mom or a divorced wife so appealing just with the amount of support.
They glorify. It's glorified.
Right. I mean, so. Say you're married to a woman, whatever. She can initiate the divorce, right? She can not only be entitled to half your shit, right? Half the house, half your shit, whatever. She not only can take your kids 9 times out of 10, but they're also in a lot of cases you're gonna have to pay her,
right,
for her leaving you.
Even if she cheated on you or whatever.
And even if she makes her own fucking money.
Yeah, which is messed up.
It is.
It's so messed up.
It is, and it's like. For what reason?
Yeah.
For what reason? I am all for the traditional marriage. And just as I was going before, so, the Uncrowned Kings movement gets a lot of hate saying they were pro men, anti-women, but they fail to realize when you call men to do better, right? So, traditionally, for the longest time, men have been taught, no, you need to be physically tough. No emotions, physically tough, grit, grind, thick skin, whatever. Not realizing that if you teach men how to be emotionally and mentally mature, how to really exhibit those strengths that men actually hold a lot greater than we may realize, that when you grow physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in all those areas, and you're growing into your purpose as your forefront instead of your woman, which I talked about this in my last podcast episode, what happens as a counter effect? You get better relationships in the household, you get better relationships with your woman, you get better relationships at the workplace and with your friends and everything.
Yeah. Because
you yourself are growing as a person, and as turn, you are gonna do better in relationships elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Your woman should never be the sole focus of your life and your relationship. As her, you shouldn't be hers either.
I wouldn't want to be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things we talk about, like women can apply too. Being confident and hardworking and all these things like that.
Yes. It's just
really,
the psychology of it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. It's slightly nuanced, obviously, because women are different. But yeah, to go back to what you said, like a lot of those traditional values are lost, and it's really just because of things like government and wacky society, and it's really to the detriment of women as well. When we talk about like this, like you're saying, like people give you hate for the Uncrowned Kings movement, and it's because it's that toxic masculinity. Well, toxic femininity is a thing too.
Well, right. Because if you want to label something as toxic masculinity, you have to recognize toxic femininity too. But we don't want to talk about that. Okay, well then you can't talk about toxic masculinity either.
Right, exactly. Because there's definitely a difference between empowering men and trying to get men to be confident in themselves.
Well, exactly. I mean, honestly, I don't even believe in toxic masculinity. I'm not going to lie to you, because that was a term that was made up by the feminists, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the origin of it, but I think it is a way to push men down, and honestly, I don't even know if it was feminists or if it's just like
guys being
corporate media and stuff like that to try to make money. Because what is the root of everything? It's fucking money.
Oh,
it's corporations and it's all this bullshit. It's just money.
Right, follow the fucking money on that one. Now, the reason why I don't believe in toxic masculinity is because what is considered toxic, right? Being overly aggressive, being that dominant, I'm a manly man.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you really look at what being a man is, it's what you literally described before as being a leader, being able to have that power, have that control, and being able to be dominant in all the right areas, being able to elicit damage, but know when to hold back and when it's appropriate.
Right.
So being emotionally, mentally, and physically in control, but dominant at the same time.
Yeah.
Being meek, having the ability to elicit great damage, but you sheathe that sword.
Yeah.
So
being an asshole and a piece of shit is not synonymous with being a strong male.
No.
And it's not exclusive to being a male. Like, women can be assholes and fucking pieces of shit too.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. You can be a good person or you can be a piece of shit. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to.
Right, but I mean, just looking in a general sense, people assert dominance and aggression with testosterone.
Right.
And tattoos and weightlifting and A lot of times fucking steroids,
Right,
whatever.
and really what it comes from is it just comes from a lack of discipline. It comes from a lack of morals and a lack of leadership.
So that's exactly where I was going. It's not toxic masculinity.
Right.
It's a lack of masculinity.
It's a lack of positive masculinity with leadership and discipline.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. They haven't learned to fully control their masculinity. Really, like the over-aggressive, really passionate, emotional, like guys that are about that have so much more potential than they realize if they just learn how to control it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of this stuff that you and I talk about can easily be misconstrued, not only by people that on the outside looking in, but also by the people that are taking it in.
Yes.
Be like, oh, Joe and Dave say, be a fucking monster, be strong. Well, that doesn't mean to be a fucking asshole.
No, that's why you need to get the bigger pictures. Like, yes, we're talking about, you need to be a dominant presence, you need to be aggressive, assertive, walk with purpose, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But you also need to be able to show compassion, respect, and empathy for others.
100%.
Like,
100%.
being a man is a full fucking circle thing.
Yeah.
And it is not fucking easy, just because, especially the social stigma that is placed on us.
Yeah.
That limits our ability to be a man.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at it, you can see it in movies that are not all fucking woke and bullshit. Like you look at like John Wick. Like look at that guy. He's a fucking badass.
Oh my gosh,
He kills motherfuckers left and right. But
with a fucking pencil.
right. But does he abuse women and treat them like shit? No. Is he a strong presence that's not to be fucked with? Absolutely. But he's not a piece of shit. I mean, look at like if you want to break it down to like pop culture, then look at shit like that. That'll show you.
But no, they'd rather push the narrative that, especially like dads or husbands are the most dopiest motherfuckers.
Oh, it's the worst thing.
You look at The Simpsons, you look at Family Guy, any modern movie, whatever, the husband and the father are looked at as fucking idiots. And the mother's the one that's like, I gotta run the show, I gotta take care of the house. And that portrays a horrible image.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, heaven forbid if we actually...
And it's not that we're saying, oh, the women should look stupid. It's like, just don't make the dad look stupid. Like,
no, they're
I'm
not
not saying
saying
the
that
mom
much of a
is
fucking extreme.
Right. I hate that fucking contradiction. And it's always like, oh, so you don't want the man to look stupid, you want the... No, I just don't want anybody to look stupid. Just, why can't,
No, show it the way it is. Sometimes guys, yes, we do have stupid moments.
Right.
But guess what? Women have these so-called blonde moment.
Right.
Where it's like, they just go right over the head.
Exactly.
It fucking happens to the best of us.
100%.
It's not just this one fucking narrative. But, I mean, alright, so you want to hear the one crazy fucking conspiracy theory?
Okay.
But it actually, listen to me, it actually makes sense if you, step back and you start to really uncover what's behind that veil. Alright, so did you know that the feminist movement was created by two female FBI agents, like way back in, like, I think around the 70s?
No.
So, nuclear family, right?
Yeah.
Working father, stay-at-home mom made the house a home. It worked for as long as we can remember. That fucking worked.
Yeah.
When all the morals and all the disciplines are correct, that was it.
Right.
So what did that do? It pushed women into the workplace. Well, men are always going to work. That's just what we do. We're always going to work. But now they push women into the workplace.
The government stands to make more money. Corporations stand to make more money because there's more workers.
Bingo. But it gets worse. So now we have the children at home. Both mom and dad are working now because now this is a push up. Who can make the most money? Who's going to have the bigger career? Who has the balls in the fucking relationship?
Yeah.
So now both are working. Now you get rid of the dad because we made being a single divorced mom or whatever as appealing as it is, and it's becoming a lot more common nowadays.
Yeah.
So now it's no father in the household. Now the mom is pushed to work as much. What is the government doing now with all our kids? What has been one of the biggest pushes, especially from like late 2019 into today?
Well, there's a multitude of things. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the prison system because there's no discipline. So they fuck around and they get thrown in jail.
Well, there's that. Or the biggest push is the political narrative. How politics is now becoming so heavily involved with political correctness, all this race theory.
The government is your parents instead of your parents actually being your parents.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Now look what's happening with today's society. Look at this new generation that's brought up. They get offended by everything. It's too sensitive to fucking handle life. There being a lack of men being able to be men and being good leaders because we've been told it's toxic and don't be a good leader. Show your emotions. Do this, do that.
Right.
So now we have weak men in hard times with a generation that isn't strong enough to really do anything about it.
Right.
Meanwhile, mom and dad are absent, out working, just trying to make a fucking living, if that. Otherwise, they're sitting on their ass collecting that government money. And now, the government gets to go and do whatever the fuck they need to do or whatever they want to do, because all the people that are actually willing to stand up and fight have other responsibilities and need to take care of them because they've been, pushed back so far. And you don't have a younger generation that's smart enough to stand up, unlike the generations before us that were literally on the beaches of Normandy at 18 years old trying to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
Small steps and incremental changes over time. Now, no marriages fucking last anymore, it seems like. All these kids are all fucked up. We're the biggest mental health crisis that we've ever been in.
Right. And there's another thing. I mean, I support, people getting help with their mental health, because that shows compassion. That shows understanding to others.
It becomes being self-aware.
Absolutely.
Like being able to understand, like, okay, I know I need help. I know I'm not perfect, and I know there's help out there. It's not like, I'm depressed. There's nothing can save me. I don't know what to do. It's like, no.
Right. It's always existential. It's always like, what outside force is causing the depression or the anxiety? It's never, looking inside and fixing oneself or improving oneself.
Oh, right. And granted, I get it. Situations certainly do not help with your mental health at all.
Sure.
However, I hate those comments that are like, I'm too far gone, bro. Don't even worry about saving me.
Right.
It's like, no, now you're just calling for attention.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people literally down in their fucking ruts, being like, bro, listen, I just need some advice or some motivation, whatever, so I can get back on my high horse. I've been on coaching calls with dudes that have been homeless or ex-felons being like, hey, how the fuck do I get my life back? I have no idea, or here's how I got here. I don't know what the fuck happened. How do I get back here? And I go, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and it starts with empowering people to want to change for themselves. Nobody's ever going to change for somebody else. You never, ever change for somebody else. You change for yourself. You change because you want to. And those are the only people that actually make that change.
Right.
It's the people that want to do it for themselves.
Right, exactly. I mean, it can be as small as, wanting your girlfriend to hit the gym with you so she can look better, to even as big as, a relationship, as marriage, or, whatever it may be. But it's like, this is why I try to get people to understand investing in someone like me for, a coaching call or a mentorship or whatever, like I offer, how absolutely important it is, and more important than a lot of people realize, to invest that into yourself. Because sometimes people get so comfortable living a miserable life that becomes a normal, not even understanding that their life could be way up here. Because a limiting mindset keeps them way down here.
Right.
It's like, okay, you have a Monday marriage, your kids are healthy, but you're so unfulfilled in life.
Yeah.
It's like you've just accepted the mundane.
Yeah, you're just
why?
You're just existing. You're not thriving. You're not living. You're just existing.
And I would have to say that it's probably 95 to 98% of the people in this world right now are literally just fucking existing. They don't want any more, but they obviously don't want any less.
Right.
So it's like, but wanting more causes you to do more work. But no, we don't like more work, so we like where we're at.
It's uncomfortable, and it's and it's risky. It's scary, but you got to face all that. You got to face fears. You have to take risks. You have to fail.
Yes.
You know as well as I do. Being where we're at in the gym here, you don't fucking make progress until you fail. You can do. Let's say we're doing benches. We're doing 3 sets.
Mm-hmm.
That first 10, I didn't grow. That second 10, I didn't grow. That third set where I pushed and I only made 8, I fucking grew because I failed. The muscles tear. The body says, hey, I need to be stronger. That's when you grow.
Right.
Same thing with your emotions, your mental health. When you push that and you fail and you make the attempt and you fail, you learn, you grow, you progress.
Right. I always like to say life is like a squat.
Yeah.
Just heavy ass weight that you put on your back, and it will try to bring you down. And you have to fight, push to get your way back up.
And it might take time.
Yes.
But eventually you're gonna push it up.
The amount of times that I've dropped, 500 or 600 pound squat, just dropped it. Fell.
And guess what? You had spotters and somebody was there to help you. So you can't do everything in your life by yourself.
No, we weren't. There's a reason. If God wanted humanity just to be one little servant or whatever, he just would have stopped at Adam. But no, he created Eve from Adam. Mm-hmm. I know everyone believes in different things, but in hindsight, we're not just, nihilistic. It's not just, we're here random, there's no reason, there's no rhyme, everything's just is the way it is, and when we all die, we fucking die.
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of life is that?
Right.
It's almost pointless at that point. You might as well just go sit in a box and just wait it out. And you'll be reincarnated into a fucking tree, and then you can be a tree. Like,
sure.
Whatever you fucking believe in, but you have to believe in something. You have to believe in something.
Right.
And I constantly preach this all the time. You have to believe in something bigger than you. I don't care if it's God, Allah, the pagan gods, a tree, a flower, the universe. Something. You need a reason to fucking wake up every day.
Yeah.
And it can't be your wife. It can't be your fucking kids. As much as people like to be like, oh, my wife is the reason why I do everything. My kids are the reason why I do everything. Those are great motivators.
They're motivators, but
they cannot be your whole fucking reason.
If that's everything, then you're, in a way, you're imprisoning yourself.
Yes.
Because what happens if that's gone? Then you have nothing to live for.
Well, right.
You know?
So people try to argue this because that one video I talked about not making your wife or your woman the center of your universe.
Yeah.
I think it's at like 1.1 million views right now.
Okay.
The amount of people that are like, I make my wife my center, you know, having that mindset of not putting her at the center is just expecting her to leave, and that's a horrible way to get in a relationship. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's bring real life mortality into it. I'm like, you guys could have the perfect fucking relationship in the world. You make her your center, she's your queen, you treat her however you should. What if she fucking dies? Like, let's bring some like real fucking shit into this.
Right.
Because I get comments saying, oh my gosh, I lost my spouse, whatever. Let's bring some real shit into this. What if she fucking passes?
Yeah.
You were obviously your own person before her. You made her your person during her, but heaven forbid, what if you guys had the perfect relationship, and heaven forbid if she passes, now what do you do? Does your life end with hers? Because I've seen that happen before a million times, and it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
It really is. You need to be able to pick yourself up and understand that you're on your path, she's on her path. God or whoever brought you together, destiny brought you together for a reason, so you can grow together, but heaven forbid, if something were to happen to her, you don't go with her. You were on your own path for a reason.
That's a good point. That's what I believe in relationships. You know, you should never, like I said earlier, somebody shouldn't be the complete focus of your life. You shouldn't be the complete focus of theirs. You're walking down a path, and you meet this person, and they happen to be walking that same path.
Yep.
There's a million paths in the world.
Yep.
Let's just walk this path together.
Yes.
But like you said, if that person were to fall off or whatever, they're not on that path, you're still on that path. Hey, maybe you pick up another person on that path.
Yes.
You know, but continue to be on your path. Live for yourself.
Correct.
And if you live for yourself and you use these other outside factors as a motivator, like you said, you're going to be successful.
Correct.
You got to constantly be chasing your own success and your own excellence.
Exactly. And everyone is brought into your life for a reason. I am a firm fucking believer of that. Whether it's good, bad, or the ugly, everyone in your life is there for a reason.
Right.
For a lesson, for a season, for a lifetime, whatever that fucking saying is. It's so fucking true.
Right.
It 100% is. And kind of going back to, you know, the whole idea of a path. Gentlemen, I'm talking to you, this one, you, because I see this way more in men than I do women. Do not take your path. Here's the girls you want path. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't fucking do that.
Because if you're going to do that, you know, you're just cheating yourself. You don't want to find somebody who's on a different path because they're on that path. It has to be somebody who's on the same path and you decide to walk together.
Yes, perfect example. I've done this before, and a big part of me regret it, even though I hate having regrets. But I've done that. I've taken the path that I'm on and completely almost derailed myself to be on another woman's path.
Right.
Because I felt like, I had to be with this girl. It was literally the girl I was engaged to in the Marine Corps. Literally, I was sitting on my own path. I had options of, you know, MOSs when I was going through my MOS change. She was in 0451 all the way in Virginia going to fucking MOS school. Meanwhile, I was ex-infantry, so I got hurt. I couldn't be infantry anymore. You know, I had the option to do a plethora of different careers. I was a very, very good fucking Marine. And my sergeant major at the time was like, you're a good enough Marine. I know we don't do this for everyone, but I'm going to let you pick your next MOS. Where do you want to go? And my dumb ass went, oh, well, she's got a cool job. I like being around her. I'm going to do her job. For what reason?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, if I didn't pick her job that she had, I would still be in right now because of the mess that I got into over there.
And here's the other thing that comes to mind is when we're talking about walking on paths, it doesn't just have to be with sexual relationships with a woman.
No.
I mean, it can be because that's not everything. You know, a relationship with a woman is not the end all be all of life. This can be, you know, people that you bring into your life regardless.
Friendships,
so, you know,
family.
Don't walk down another friendship path that's not on your own. Only choose the friends and even the family, because you're born with family, but family is what you make it. Family is what you make it.
Yes.
I know plenty of people who have been burned and fucked over by their blood, more so than people who came into their lives as friends.
Yep.
So your family is what you make it. So you got to walk that path that you're walking, regardless of anything else. And friends, family, relationships, careers, anything
Yes.
that is along that path is what you need to walk. You cannot veer from that path for anything.
Yeah.
Not just relationships.
Oh my gosh, careers are a huge one. You know how many guys I see that are completely unfulfilled in the thing that they do?
Yeah.
Yeah, why do they do it? Make some money.
Right. But at the same time, this is not to say don't take risks and try new things.
No.
Because you never know what you might be able to do if you go down a different career path or try something new. Just don't lose track of who you are and what your goal, what your path is.
Correct. Obviously, some careers are just stepping stones.
Yeah.
Again, they're there for a lesson. So it's
it teaches you something.
Exactly. So it's like my time in the Marine Corps taught me how to be a public speaker, taught me how to lead, taught me how to project my voice and have that sense of authority. Really brought that out of me because I was able to utilize it. My time as a server, whatever, taught me how to have interpersonal relations, taught me how to network with people, and taught me how to speak appropriately with literally anybody. I can sit down and have a conversation with literally anybody.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a dude from, what is it, Section 8 housing?
Yeah.
Or the fucking President of the United States. I know how to talk to anyone in between.
Sure. Yeah, you're gonna find common ground with other people and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Makes you a more well-rounded person too. If you can find that common ground and relate to people in different walks of life, or different upbringings, backgrounds, whatever. And that's the wonderful thing about life and people being from different places and different countries is people all have different things to bring to the table, but there are still always going to be similarities.
Right.
You can
And
find something that's similar.
I wish people would understand that, because now it's like what? Cultural appropriation?
Yeah.
That you can't dress like an Indian, or that hair belongs to black people, or that's Mexican music. You can't enjoy tacos on Taco Tuesday because you're white. And it's like, why can't we just appreciate each other's differences?
Right.
I fucking love tacos. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you can't eat pizza.
Yeah.
Because that came from Italy.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it honestly, those kinds of things really get under my skin. They sit uncomfortably with me because, I mean, if you just look at me, 99% of people can't figure out what race I am because I'm mixed. Hey, maybe I am. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. And I love that. It's because it doesn't matter. I'm mixed with a whole bunch of shit, and it doesn't matter. Because anywhere you go, anywhere you take yourself, you're learning new things and you're exploring new ideas. Like, that's the whole essence of life. I want to meet people from all these other countries and learn customs and traditions. That's how the world is. Like,
exactly.
There's no such thing as like white or black or Asian cultures, because they've been mixed with, like, you go back tens of thousands of years or whatever, and even before we got all this woke stuff, cultures and tribes were trading and mixing. It's because obviously North America hasn't really been populated for that long. Even Native Americans weren't here as long as people were in Africa and the Middle East over there and stuff like that. So those and Asia and those people, long before Native Americans moved down from above, because they came from Antarctica and from the south and from like South America and stuff like that to North America.
Antarctica's on the bottom.
Oh, Antarctica, whatever. But like I'm saying, like Eskimos is what I'm saying. Dude, I am not a geography guy.
Antarctica's surrounded by
Barber,
nothing.
I'm an artist. I'm not a fucking geographer.
Antarctica's on the bottom.
Right.
Went from East Asia and Russia.
The North Pole, where Santa Claus lives.
Yes, crossed over that Arctic bridge, into what's now Alaska, and down up from Canada into what we know as North America.
Right, and then they came down, and you get Native Americans, and even like people from like Mexico and Central America.
Yep.
Those are Native Americans too. If you look at
the Aztecs and all those tribes and shit.
Absolutely. But even before like that stuff, back in Asia and in Africa, different tribes were trading, recipes and music and
traditions and cultures and all this stuff.
Yep.
So cultural appropriation has been happening since humans started.
It's literally just the experience of the human experience.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
And
It's the human experience.
Yeah, and it's so upsetting to see that being vilified when it's what makes everybody wonderful. It's what makes humanity wonderful is sharing differences,
So,
sharing different things. Because if everybody was the same, what would be the point of living? If you were the exact same person as me, you had all the same muscles and all the same, well, we don't say muscles, but like, like I'm more legs and you're more upper body. You know, we had all the same tattoos and shit like that, and it's like, if we all were all exactly the same, life would be extremely boring.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you brought that up. It's like, so I believe in God. I don't really like the idea of calling myself a Christian because organized religion I feel like has gone so far south it's not even funny.
Yeah.
But I believe in God. I have my relationship with Jesus and everything. And I hated that people automatically assume I hate someone or I don't like someone or whatever based off of who they are. And I know you kind of get where I'm coming from with that. But it's like, my partner Chaz, the one that's been helping me kind of run my Discord community, he believes in Norse pagans. Kind of like, I think what you were talking about.
Right? I believe a little bit of that. I believe in like just a higher power. I'd say I'm largely agnostic because I believe that there's something bigger than us. If you look at like Christianity and Judaism and Islam, and all these monotheistic religions, they're all very similar. A lot of things that they teach are very similar.
Yes.
And that brings me back to like just treat others the way you want to be treated and just, and everything comes full circle.
So I mean, at the end of the day, take God, take faith, all that whatever out of like just the Bible. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
You cannot discredit what it calls you to do in life. And I mean that saying like, you can't tell me that the life it calls you to live is a bad life.
Yeah.
Oh, honor and respect your partner. Treat others how you want to be treated. Don't be greedy. Don't idolize your whole entire life of sex. Don't idolize a certain object because it's not. Those are not even bad things to live by, regardless whether or not what you believe in.
Right.
So it's like, people can't even get on that common ground. They're like, oh, look, we got a Bible thumper. And I'm like, for what? Being a good person? I'm sorry, fuck you. Like,
yeah. I agree with you. I may not believe the same things exactly, but I mean largely I agree with you. So
yeah,
and that's what's sad that people don't just fixate on that.
I think Andy Frisella put it best. Is like the biggest problem that we have right now is that people don't have problems. People don't have real problems anymore.
Yeah.
I love the way he said this because we got so comfortable and so complacent in life. It's just like we don't lack in America.
Dude, it is November 17th. In Illinois, and it's like 40 degrees outside, and I'm sitting here in a t-shirt, and we have lights and warmth.
And you guys are being able to hear this, and you have water, you have drinkable, potable water right there.
Right, like, you're right, there's no real problem. It's not like life and death problems every day. It's like the environment where animals are going to kill me every single day the way it used to be.
Right, or you have to worry about if you walk outside and you're going to get shot if you wear the wrong, I mean, in some parts of Illinois.
Sure.
You might get shot if you wear the wrong colors, actually. But I
can't really say that one, but
I was going to say I probably shouldn't go certain places. But you get what I'm saying.
I can just go to the supermarket and buy food. I don't have to go hunting, maybe go hungry or get killed by the things that are out there hunting.
So we have such little problems in society right now. It's like people will complain and find the little things because it's almost like they need that level of stress. They need to feel like there's something going wrong because heaven forbid if you're actually having a good fucking day.
Well, you do need stress, positive stress.
You do. It keeps you going. It keeps you alive.
You need stress from physical exertion. You need stress from relationship challenges and stuff like that, but you need to handle it in a positive way, and you need to look at it in a positive way. There's this guy, and I can't remember the name. He's this breathwork guy, and he talks about he's like the cold shower guy.
Oh, he's the guy that just like decides to like live in ice, the Iceman or whatever.
Yeah, he's the Iceman. He's got like the world records, and he talks about like handling stress every day, and putting stress on your body with the cold showers and stuff like that, so that when you get into a situation that's high anxiety or high adrenaline, or like diseases and stuff like that, your body is ready because it's already dealt with these stresses that you've put on yourself.
Yeah.
You know? So stress is good, and we need stress, but we're seeking out the wrong kinds of stress. We're seeking out divisive stress, unnecessary stress. We shouldn't be divisive with each other.
Right. And I mean, so I talked about this again in my last podcast because someone asked me about overthinking and anxiety, and the book I always love to point to is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah.
And I bring it to them very easily like this. Say you have 5 dimes, right, in your hand, and those 5 dimes basically are an example of the amount of fucks that you're able to give in this life. Because we only have so many fucks we can give about shit.
And my book I gave you talks about the same thing. But continue.
Right. And basically what it talks about is people are so ridden with stress and anxiety and even depression because they're choosing to take the little amounts of fucks that they have to give and throw them at things that don't even fucking matter.
Right. And then they're borrowing fucks from the next day or whatever.
Right. And then you're negative fucks and then you just are running dry. But instead and this is a trained concept, you can't just do this like that.
It takes practice.
Exactly. So instead, take it on the things that you can control. Oh, paying your bills, you can control that. Oh, how much work you put in, how much effort you put into your relationship. You have control over all these tiny little things that you choose to give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Give a fuck about the right things.
Right, exactly.
Stop giving a fuck that Starbucks misspelled your name wrong in the goddamn cup.
Exactly.
Stop giving a fuck that one dude cut you off in traffic and he flipped you the bean.
Right, yeah.
Some little things do not fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I'll be at work and like one of my probably more heftier coworkers will be like, I'm so tired, my feet hurt, and then sip on a Coke, and I'm like, are you seriously complaining right now? You're complaining as you're causing the fucking issue.
Yeah, I know people like that.
Like, give a fuck about the right things. Oh, your feet hurt. How about we start giving a fuck about our health?
Right.
Oh, your back hurts. Give a fuck about your health. You don't feel good. Give a fuck about your mental health, your physical health, your relationships, the situations that you were putting yourself into. And a lot, when I say relationships, again, I don't mean sexual relationships. I just mean interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, interactions with other human beings. Yeah.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. People don't understand. All these little things can cause so much damage on the body if you just allow them to be.
Right.
Show me 5 people, I'll show you in your future. You are the 5. You're the sum of the 5 closest people you're around with.
Sure.
Absolutely amazing saying.
Sure.
Absolutely amazing saying. So if you wonder why you're so depressed or so stressed or you're not going anywhere in life, look at your surroundings.
Yeah, who's the company you keep? What are the influences?
Exactly. What music do you listen to? Are you eating shit food all the fucking time? Are you going out and getting the sun? Or are you hanging out with junkies just sitting in a dark basement doing blow off your chick's ass?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that last part's bad sometimes, but I'm just I'm kidding. Drugs not hurts kids unless you do drugs.
Some people are out there like, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, if that's what you're putting your environment into, your body's a very adaptable machine.
Yeah.
It will adapt to that environment very quickly, and then you'll get stuck on that.
Whatever,
Exactly. Your body creates homeostasis, so if you get stuck in that level of homeostasis, you get used to it, and then it's going to take that much more to not only get back to normal, but then to get beyond normal and you're going to be thriving in life. You really have to pull a fucking 180, get that one out of your ass.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you really create your own destiny, like you're saying, and it's all about who you surround yourself, what you surround yourself with, how you set yourself up for your future. Because we make our own destiny. We do set ourselves up. So it's all, what are you putting in place for your future?
Bingo. Bingo. Well, all right, man. I think we ran our mouths long enough. That was a good conversation.
At least probably an hour or so.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's 4:40.
4:40.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, brother, I'm going to close this out here, and then you can kind of give them a little recap on where to find you. Thank you guys for so much listening to this, I guess, rant of the Uncrowned podcast episode. If you want to find this, like I said, Spotify, Apple Play, all the other bullshits. If you guys want to support the podcast, like, share, check us out at jbmotivation.com for all the good and fun merch, and check out any of my socials, jbmotivation777. Sign you off, Mr. Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure what's the fucking Marvel character? Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
I'm gonna start calling you.
There have been multiple Captain Marvels in the universe. We can maybe talk about comic books another day.
Ooh, I'd be down.
Yeah, we can do one that's just like video games, comic books, all kinds of pop culture and shit. We don't always have to be so serious.
Right.
But The Dave Marvel is my regular Instagram.
Find me on there. Just follow all my shenanigans and shit that I do. But if you want a business, my business one, you want to start looking as good as this guy, hair, beard.
I'm due for another haircut.
Yeah, we'll get you in there probably next week. Maybe even this week. Who knows? Whatever works for you.
I get bit on Friday.
But there you go. So yeah, if you want to look as good as this guy, not as good as me because I don't do my own work, so I don't know, you know. So, but New Asgard Barber, you can find me on Instagram. Everything's by appointment only. Shoot me a message on there. Like I said, doesn't matter where you come from, who you are. You're welcome. As long as you're a decent person, all I care about is you know, good conversations, good people in my studio, and you know, I'm glad you had me on. I like talking about this shit. I like helping other people, and empowering men, even women too. You know, like I said earlier, women can take a lot from this too. So thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. We'll definitely get you back on here again. All right, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, I'll see you, man.
Shit. Oh.